Hello, my name's Craig. I'm a graphic designer from Scotland, and today we're talking about AI art, particularly something that came to my attention really recently, and it's to do with something I'm incredibly passionate about. And if you're looking over there, yes, I do have a cat. If you get to the end of the video, I will show you, or you can skip to the outro now, and then you can see her. She is also employed as my design intern, so there you go. AI art has came into the mainstream of media and art from only just over a year ago, but it's came to my attention that it's a part of something that I'm incredibly passionate about, that being the illustrative works of Wizards of the Coast's Dungeons and Dragons. And I want to talk about it a little bit, so let's find it. Now, every few months, Dungeons and Dragons releases a new guide, adventure, or rulebook, and they're filled with not only rules, spells, and class and background options to play the greatest tabletop role-playing game of all time, but they also have incredible maps, illustrations, pieces of artwork that are filled with detail that bring the world of Dungeons and Dragons to life. But now it seems that it is also now plagued by AI-generated art. And it is in Wizard of the Coast's brand new official book, Bigby Presents Glory of the Giants. And I'm not going to lie, the alt cover looks beautiful. Looks like, from a Dungeons and Dragons standpoint, it looks like it's Dragon Chess, which is a game that you can play in Dungeons and Dragons. I have never really came across it or used it in any of my games, and I don't really understand it, but it looks great on this alternative cover. Now, while it has been used in this book and it's quite blatant to see, Wizards of the Coast don't seem to have been aware of this. I do find that hard to believe, because usually in these teams there is more than likely an approval process, and then this would have been approved and then went to the official printing, and I feel like it's only really been from the backlash that has been received due to AI generative art being used, or at least parts of it being used, that has made Wizards of the Coast bring out an official statement. But first of all, we're going to take a look at the examples that I have here. So in terms of the examples, we have here the Frostmourne Giant and the Frost Giant Ice Shaper, in which there is very, very clear use of AI to generate pieces of the artworks. And looking at it here, there's a fair few. As it does turn out, the suspicions and speculation was totally correct and accurate, as the artists themselves came forward and admitted to using AI tools to generate certain details or polish and edit in a now deleted post on the social media site that is formerly known as Twitter and is now known as X. And looking at the illustrations though, none of these are polished or edited well. There is no sense of this being a lot of detail. There's a lack of kind of symmetry and asymmetry in the designs. There are clumps of mass that don't really look like anything. They don't look like pieces of armor, pieces of clothing. It just does not look great at all. And the details are very few and far between. Another criticism is the wolves' paws kind of look like human feet, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. That makes my knees tingle a little bit, and it's just like it kind of, yeah, don't. Moving on. Wizards of the Coast, as I said, did put out an official statement saying, "Today we became aware that an artist used AI to create artwork for the upcoming book, Bigby Presents Glory of the Giants. We have worked with this artist since 2014, and he's put years of work into books we all love. While we weren't aware of the artist's choice to use AI in the creation process for these commissioned pieces, we have discussed with him and he will not use AI for Wizards' work moving forward. We are revising our process and updating our artist guidelines to make clear that artists must refrain from using AI art generation as part of their art creation process for developing D&D art." Now, this response has been huge. Obviously, there was a massive amount of backlash because there are millions of incredibly passionate D&D players and DMs, much like myself, that were frankly outraged, as well as illustrators and artists alike who put, frankly, dozens of hours and years of work to perfecting this craft for somebody to get commissioned to use a not quite polished off piece of software, that being artificial intelligence. Ultimately, AI art has its place in the world. It absolutely does. It's frankly an incredible feat of the development of human-built technology, and it will absolutely have a place at some point. I will also say this is the worst that AI is going to be ever in its history. During the first year, even couple years, there are still going to be refinements, developments, things that are going to improve in terms of AI and AI generated artworks, because there is frankly always going to be some form of upset and outrage and conflict between artists and AI generated art, purely because a lot of what AI is trained upon at the moment is artwork that is readily available across many websites, and there have even been instances in the past of artists' signatures actually being on pieces of AI generated art, which I think is absolutely crazy, frankly. But I do feel that I think with this, I'm maybe being a bit biased in terms of I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love seeing artists and art workers and illustrators get credit that they rightfully deserve for being not only passionate about Dungeons and Dragons itself, but also being passionate about their craft and spending, hundreds of hours, days, decades in developing themselves and becoming professionals and some of the most famous illustrators and artists on the planet. I do want to hear from you guys as well. How do you guys feel about AI art being used in an official Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons book? I frankly feel that it should not have been used, that there should have been a little bit more kind of foresight in terms of seeing that AI art might be used in official books. They need to, update their policies regarding this as well, because there's been a lot of outrage online and a lot of discussion about this specific subject, because now they're using AI to generate voices as well, which I think's incredibly interesting. It's a really interesting development, and I'm really interested to see how it goes, but I don't feel that it is suited yet to create accurate and detailed illustrations just yet. It's certainly on its way there, and it will definitely get to that point, but I don't feel like it is anywhere near ready to be used in official books yet. But then again, I'm a massive D&D fan. I do think, it's, a breakthrough in a sense of opening up the door to the conversation of eventually maybe we might be able to see some AI artworks in an official Dungeons and Dragons book. But I do feel like at the moment it shouldn't really be there. It should never have been used in the first place. But I feel like it's one of those things where you kind of have to dip your toe in the water and see how things go. But let me know what you guys think. Also, feel free to like and subscribe. I'm currently working on a big Dungeons and Dragons project myself, where I'm currently creating a title, and I'm going to be animating that as well and creating a big cinematic for a campaign that I ran. And if you guys do want to check that video out to give you a little bit more context on the project, feel free to take a look. Or if you even want to be a part of the project, I'll leave a link in the description for that as well. But that's been me, guys. I will catch you guys later. See you. Have a good one.